All right, if everyone's ready, I'd like to call the meeting for Monday, July 15, 2024 at 6:01 PM. If everyone could please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Susan, could you please do a roll call?
Yep. Andrews,
Present.
Walsh,
Present.
LaRose here, Reardon,
Here.
Layton,
Here.
Stasinski, here, Hetmer.
Here.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
All right. Moving on to number 4, the agenda. If everyone could please review for any conflict of interest.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for Monday, July 15th as presented.
Second.
Or,
All right. Motion made by Layton, supported by LaRose. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passes. And then I guess approval of the agenda, which kind of.
What?
Yeah.
The meeting minutes from last month?
Yeah.
There's no
That's
public,
kinda,
skipping public.
we kind of just approved and reviewed it all in the same.
You
But
said
we-
minutes, I think you meant to say agenda.
Hey, you said agenda.
When I said agenda, I
Well,
think you
it's
meant.
what it says in my packet.
We're on number 6, approval of the minutes, June 17th.
Okay.
I'll move
Number
to
4.
The minutes?
Yeah, 4B though is approval of the agenda.
Oh, I thought we already did that.
Did
But
you-
that's
did
what-
Well, we were, yeah,
That's what the motion was
Yeah.
for.
yeah, I know,
It's all right.
you- Happy Monday.
I support
yeah.
Brian's
All right.
motion.
That's look good.
Sorry for that confusion. I was
It's all
For the
right.
minutes,
reading,
for the minutes, for June 17th.
all right. Motion to approve the minutes from June 17th made by Ryan, supported by Susan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. My apologies there. Going down my list. All right, correspondences. I don't think there were any. The only thing was Beth sent out an email about name badges for the game night at Grace McDonald Park on August 8th. And then I also received one from this Easy Ice Rink company. It was just sent to me, but I don't know if we're interested in any ice rink type of services, so I can forward that to you guys, but
Like
I
a
not,
permanent ice rink or like a
yeah, I
temporary?
think it was like an
one?
artificial type of ice rink, but
I'd just be interested out of curiosity.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was some kind of spammy type thing, but I can forward that to everyone, so those are the only things I saw.
And then we got an email from Claire.
Oh, yeah, about communications,
I'm not hitting reply to all.
yeah, so, yeah, due to the public meeting stuff, just be cautious of what you're saying, who you're emailing with, and all that, so. I don't think there were any issues with us, but it's just a reminder. I think you all should have got that as well, so. All right, moving on to reports. Garrison, if you could please give us a treasurer's report.
Yeah, you can see it on page 4 now. Super quiet month, just normal board meeting payroll fees, and then $608 in attorney and engineering fees, so $1,700 total.
Does anyone have any questions on the treasurer's report?
Oh, I do have one for Beth eventually. Just, there's 2 Jens Park capital outlay lines now. One has activity, just $900 with no budget, but the 100,000 is in the main one. I just didn't know if that was an error or if we created a new one, but I can email Beth on that. I'll CC you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I just realized that there might have been one other correspondence that came in relation to Jens Park.
Yeah, or Holiday Woodland, the survey, somebody emailed about the survey,
Yeah.
I couldn't find the survey.
Oh, the QR code on the newsletter didn't work, or some
I
such.
responded to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Or the link,
Sarah.
anyway, it looked like it'd been taken care of.
And
Is
the
that what you-
the
is that what
lady
you
that
were
I
talking
saw an email for was just asking if Jens Park was going to be open by
Oh.
July 4th, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, it was supposed to be open that week
Yeah.
anyways.
I went there before, they said it's still not open. I mean, there's people there, but the gate's closed and it says closed. There
Yeah.
was some Alexandria people parked there.
Yeah, I did see some people park in that front parking lot, and I wasn't sure if it was them or
There was 2
just
cars there, but
folks.
there was just like
Like,
a mom
currently
with her
though, is it
kid at the
open?
beach and
Well, like
the
last
other guy
Friday
was
it wasn't
from
open, but they
Alexandria,
did
so I saw him walk
the parking lot.
Yeah.
They resealed the parking lot, so I assumed that's why it was closed last Friday when I was there.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was open. I
Yeah.
don't remember seeing
But
it.
the stamped concrete's all done, they've got seat on the sides, like, I don't know what we're
They
waiting
said
for.
on Monday that they were 75% done,
Oh,
but we were 8 weeks out on the tables.
Right.
Do we have any financial
I think-
leverage since they blew past the deadline?
Well, no, that was one that we agreed to let them do the tables, because they ordered them at the May meeting when Brian was here.
Right,
Asked if we could order the tables earlier so that they could come back to do that. So they did the work knowing that they'd have to come back later on.
They did start late, though. It was
But
supposed
it's when
to,
the start date, right? It's
Right,
like
they had to be
whatever
done-
date they start, they have to get it done in this many weeks.
Right. And they had to be open for 4th of July. That was all part of the
I don't
agreement.
think it was.
It was?
Well, it's over, so,
No, it wasn't open.
Right,
should
and that
be
would
open.
be, I mean, Beth would be dealing with that from her aspect,
Yeah.
in the contract.
So they would have had it closed off then, so nobody could even drive in?
No, but yeah, the gate's been closed. so
the
you
gate's
can,
been
like- You
closed,
can walk in
there's a
still,
sign out there.
Yeah.
and you could park in those 2 spots in the front.
I was there last night finding a geocache spot for our geocache stuff we're doing for the township, and I mentioned to Beth that there were people there, and she said hopefully by this week they'll open the gate. So there's some issues with sealing the concrete and parking lot.
Where they did the root repair, it didn't look
Yeah.
super amazing.
That's probably, there were some issues or delays in that, so
Okay.
hopefully sometime this week that gets taken care of and open back up. Yeah, all right,
Sorry to get us off track there.
no, you're fine. I didn't see those
Yeah, I
emails,
didn't
or,
see that one, but
It just clicked
I'm
with me.
also annoyed about it, so I wanted to talk about it, so I'm glad it came up.
Yeah, no, I think it came from an East Bay resident, but came to my county email. I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
My emails all kind of show up in the same place on my phone, so
Yeah.
it looked like it was an East Bay thing.
okay,
'Cause usually people wouldn't call me in the county asking about Jens Park, so.
yeah, all right. Yeah, Sarah, would you mind giving us a little staff report?
Yeah, I don't really have anything outside of the agenda items. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Oh, that's a lie. So last month you had asked about the little libraries, and so they were not on the map, but I'm working through getting them registered on the map. So they all have numbers. Today they emailed me and said that they've assigned the numbers back to us, so now I'm just waiting for the system to update so I can go through and put the locations on them. So they'll show
Little
up.
free libraries?
Yep, on their website, on their
website?
map. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so working through that to get those, all up
And
to
you-
date.
did you order like the little plaques?
They already have the charter numbers on them.
they do? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, so, but they're old, that's why they're probably not on the map, because they put them, they register them when you buy the plate to put on the map, and so that's why I think they weren't on there. So, working through that to get them so they'll show up.
Okay, that's good to know, because mine's registered, but I've never had it called or
Yeah.
emailed them to put, and I'll make sure to put mine on the map, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting, because I
Yeah.
would like to do something up the road here with all the little free libraries in the township.
Yeah.
Whether we have a welcoming party or balloons and
Something.
cake, cupcakes or something.
Yeah, yeah. I know that, I talked with Beth a little bit about it today, and that we would just be utilizing the Free Little Library website to kind of keep the list of them. The township wouldn't be maintaining any kind of a list for that, just because we don't want to publish people's addresses and things like that. So we'll just rely on the Free Little Library, or Little Free Library to.
For the location.
For the locations.
Yeah, that's
to find
good,
them.
because
Yeah.
right now, I think there's only 2 or 1 showing up, and not of the townships, but
Yeah.
just in general.
Yeah,
And I guess that's up to the owner
right,
to,
yeah,
if they want to publish it.
right.
And I stamp my book, because mine's Villa Villaculu, is the name of mine, but, because Pippi's my idol.
Oh.
But, yeah, and I have stamps, so wherever that book goes, they should be, it should be
That's
able
kinda
to
fun.
follow, yeah. You should be able to follow that book. So,
Fun.
Cool. All right. There's,
Thank you for doing that,
thanks.
good.
If there's nothing else on that, we can move on to number 9, business before the Parks Commission, 9A, the game night at Grace McDonald Park, which is going to be August 8th from 5 to 7 p.m.
Yeah, so, and I apologize because I wrote a staff memo that's supposed to be in your packet, but I didn't put it in your packet, so I'm gonna just have to talk about it for you. So we have game night scheduled. Some of the items that we need to talk through is the current games that are purchased for lawn games are 4 to Score, Jenga, ladder golf, and checkers. We're still in need of like cornhole, basketballs, anything else that either you may have or you know somebody that may have those items. And then Susan, I was wondering if would reach out to the library about their games to see what they might have available that night to use. And then I don't know if you would want to have any kind of tabletop games in the pavilion that were there. So one of the things that's in your packet is kind of the layout of Jen's Park, so you can figure out where you think you want to be staged and what should be happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, what did I just say?
John.
Yes, yeah.
We can bring it to the beach.
So kind of to talk through some of that, we currently have an ice cream truck, and we may have pizza there, I need to confirm that. So talking about if there's any, we'll need some sort of drinks like we usually have for the sledding party, so water and I don't know if there's
Lemonade or
anything,
something?
yeah, for that.
Lemonade.
For that, and then about.
Music?
No music, although if somebody had some sort of a stereo that they could bring, or I guess you could do Bluetooth speaker right from your phone. Somebody has a good playlist, that might make sense.
Is Jenga, is that like Stack Attack? Those big
Yep.
stacking
Yeah.
blocks?
Yeah.
I want to be where that station is.
So, and then kind of looking at what tasks would be for each of the parks commissioners for the night before or for the night as well. Hopefully have you be able to kind of mingle a little bit with people, but if there's certain, things that need to help, like with Jenga, like putting it back together, if people aren't going to do that, just, naturally. But also thinking about creating a poster that would have kind of current projects, so we could put the Holiday Woodland Survey on it, we could do the Warming Hut again on that.
Do we have some of that
Arbutus.
around, leftover pieces?
Yeah, so I can put together like a board kind of what you've been working on as an opportunity.
Maybe a board of what we've accomplished too.
Yeah.
Like Arbutus and Jen's,
Right.
maybe some like nice pictures of the finished
Yeah,
product. It's like, we're doing some stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know, I guess kind of going back, since you don't have this paper to be able to look at that, does anybody have cornhole or basketballs or other yard games they'd be willing to bring for the evening?
Have a kickball. We could do kickball and baseball diamond.
I don't know how many people you need for
I have like
kickball.
soccer balls, volleyballs, footballs, but I don't think I have a basketball.
I can
don't know how
probably-
complete anything is at my house right now.
I can probably bring a cornhole board.
Yeah,
I can bring frisbees.
Frisbees are fun.
Like ultimate
I do
frisbees?
have a frisbee golf basket.
Oh, that'd be really good, actually. Yeah. I could bring some discs too, people could use. I got a few putters and just some I don't care about they can chuck.
Can you take plastic sleds and slide down that hill? What would go fast?
Cardboard box?
Coroplast. That would go fast.
Are we gonna do the games where we're doing the cornhole boards in that stretch?
yeah, I think,
I think it's gonna be like, envision it, we're gonna have permanent cornhole boards here soon, but like setting the games up in that stretch that we're redoing.
yeah, I think right next to the tennis courts, kind of in that area between the pavilions and the tennis courts to be like your yard games. I
Is
like that
someone
there.
gonna be there to maybe show how to do pickleball?
Yes, Beth has been working to see if there can be an instructor or a demonstration, and also seeing if if the group that's there has some paddles that they could loan, so that people could play if they wanted to.
Because I would know someone that might, be able to show how,
Yeah.
kids or whatever.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Tennis balls and
okay.
rackets.
If you could send an email to Beth, I don't know where she's at on that. I know she was working on reaching out, but
Is there like any kind of like community share box of paddles and stuff? I know like some places like Acme Beach has a shuffleboard out there that, has some supplies that people can just use.
When I call the library, maybe they might have some of that equipment too.
I'd hope that association would have like some practice gear in that shed they wouldn't mind lending.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if it was just something.
Not their top of the line gear, but I imagine there's some old paddles sitting in that
I understand
shed.
reasoning why people wouldn't want to do that too, because it could just walk away, but
Sure.
at the same time, it
Well, I
seems
think
to
you
be a
want it
big
more
hit at some
controlled
other
too.
places.
Just- You have an instructor, someone that plays, I mean, you don't want to
Right.
have 10 people and one person trying to whack all these balls around. But
Yeah. That would be my kids
just
running
something
around.
little, brief, and this is how you play, let's try it, and then let the next person.
Is there room to do the food trucks right at the end, like at this area, like before the bathrooms? Without cutting that turnaround point?
on the edge of the parking lot there.
Yeah, just so that they're close to the bathrooms and, or you could, you could put them right here, but then it's gonna take up 4 normal parking spots, which there's not a ton there.
Yeah, there might be some space to kind of get it down there by the sidewalk, but not block the entrance from people.
You said food truck?
Yeah.
Was there one already in mind? or-
She said an ice cream truck and possibly pizza.
Yep.
Awesome. I just had a hard time getting food trucks to do much for me.
Yeah.
It's probably the pizza truck that goes to the Thursday market.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Isn't this Thursday?
This
Wouldn't
is
that be the same
Thursday.
time?
They have a tent and they have a truck, so
Okay.
could
they
do
would
both.
not be leaving the,
Oh, farmer's market.
yes.
Okay.
So-
I feel like we kind of goofed ourselves over with,
I was just saying, yeah,
Two.
we've double booked the township
Yeah.
activities.
Well, Beth and I talked about it, and, the game nights from 5 to 7, the farmer's market's from 3 to 7. I think there's an opportunity too for collaboration if people come to the farmer's market or come to game night to go to the other one.
Yeah, maybe we have some signage right at the entrance, like,
Yeah.
game night, come after you get your
Right.
yeah,
snack.
Yeah.
it'll be good still.
So, and then drink-wise, water, would anybody want to take responsibility to help with that? Kind of like we had talked about with the sledding party, whoever's kind of responsible either to just make sure it gets there, if we need to coordinate with the
Pick it
fire
up from here.
department or
Yeah, pick it up.
here or whatever to get it out there.
I can do that. Those come.
Would it just be those same things that they use for coffee, but just put lemonade in them? Are those like a hot cold thing?
I don't know, I would need to, I'll have to talk with Beth, I just don't know what, I think that they've got a water cooler and they probably have something for lemonade, another cold item cooler.
In the fire department, they might
Yeah.
have something too.
I think so, like for the pancake breakfast, I know they do coffee and like water, but they've gotta do like a juice or
Yeah,
something, I would think.
something.
A punch or something like that, so, yeah, Garrison, I can coordinate with you to let you know when and where to pick it up.
I'll get out of work at like 4:30, so I'll just drive straight here to the fire station and pick it up with my truck.
Okay, awesome. And I'll work on the posters, and we'll probably post some flyers around each of the parks, letting people know about that, and get you out something so that you can share it too with your networks through the process. So you're getting name badges for that. And I don't know, is everybody planning on being there the whole time, or do we have some coming and going at different times for that night?
What is it, 5 to 7?
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking just the whole time.
The whole time?
It's not
Okay,
too much time.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and what I can do too is maybe put together like kind of some topics so that, to talk with people about, right? I mean, I don't know, like it'd be nice to,
Some
like,
conversation starters.
yeah, like one could be even like the dog park.
I was gonna say, can we pose
know.
the question of dog park versus athletic field? to people
Right,
that
I mean,
come?
I think that'd be a great kind of conversation starter with people while they're in that park, if they come there frequently, just to kind of get a feel about it.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll have the board too, but just to interact with people that are out there and, you know, get the feel. So that would be helpful to have you interacting with everybody out there.
For sure.
Anything else anybody has concerns about with game night?
You mentioned tabletop games earlier. Are you thinking something simple like a couple decks of cards, maybe
Say
like a
euchre?
stack of Uno? Yeah, just easy stuff everybody knows how to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Euchre? Everyone-
I've met a few people, pure Michiganders, who cannot play euchre.
Yeah, I think card games to have that. I don't know, Susan, would you ask the library when you ask about yard games about cards? And then if they don't have any cards, we may have to come back here to see if people have cards to bring.
Didn't the farmer's market just have like a kids' night? Didn't they have a bunch of games? Wasn't
I think those are all these games that you
Oh,
already
okay,
have.
gotcha. They just, I thought I read an email about all this stuff about the farmer's market games, so.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
That sounds good then.
Bylaws?
Okay.
All right, if there's no more for the game night, let's move on to the bylaws. You can see the separate packets, the new draft.
They were emailed out this morning by Beth. There was an older copy that ended up in your packet, so I apologize for that.
So this is when we're looking at the July one?
Yes.
Yeah, 2024.
So, and this kind of mimics the planning commission bylaws that we already have, but is tailored to the Parks Commission.
And we're just,
It was a-
just kind of an FYI, isn't it? We're not.
Refreshing
making
review.
changes.
There are some changes, I think, in them that would be to be more consistent with the planning
Parks,
commission.
yes.
So ideally, we'd be adopting these to make them your bylaws. Everything's pretty standard though, as far as bylaws.
Yeah, nothing looked,
It's nice and compact and
Yeah.
simple to work on. I like it.
I was a little cross-eyed by the end.
Are we just adopting these tonight as is, or?
Yeah, unless you have some changes.
in section, paragraph 3.3, it says, "The Secretary, Recording Secretary, da-da-da, shall provide each member of the Planning Commission with written notice." Is that meant to be Parks Commission if
Yeah.
this is a template from them?
Yeah.
did we, I know there was some talk about looking at like the planning commission bylaws and stuff to make sure that we're all kind of in sync with each other and,
Yeah, I think you said these are based off theirs?
Yes.
okay. And it seems pretty straightforward, and I think I'd be comfortable with adopting these.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the bylaws.
I will support that.
With the minor.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
little minor change.
3.3.
All right, there's a motion to approve the bylaws as presented with one change in section 3.3 from Planning to Parks Commission. Motion made by Walsh, second by Reardon. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passed. All right.
It's our goal to review them every January.
Sure.
Seems like we had mentioned an annual read over.
I think someone questioned us on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ryan brought it up, that we should.
Yeah, I think at the appropriate time, it'd probably be like during the election of officers, and, I mean, that would make sense to me.
Mhm.
And, you know, if you just plan for, at that November meeting, is it, or is it December?
It's November whenever
November.
it takes off.
So if we just plan on November meetings, you know, doing the bylaws with the elections, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Works for me. All right, there's no more on the bylaws. Can move on to business before the Parks Commission, 9C. In your packet, you'll see 3 quotes from 3 different companies for wood chips for Pine Grove and
Grace.
Grace McDowell. I was gonna say Pines Park, but.
Yeah. So, and these are quotes for work. They don't know the exact quantity that they need until they kind of get out there and lay it to be able to know for sure. So, just recommending that you approve the purchase and installation of the ground cover, to bring it in compliance with safety standards in picking your company and like the price per cubic foot. So Superior is the lowest price, like they have the lowest price overall, but they're at $55 per cubic
Yeah,
foot
they're
to do that.
9,350 total, the other 2 are just over 11,000.
And that, yeah, that's based on the estimate of the area with the depth. But in speaking with Beth, if you're comfortable with saying to bring it into compliance with safety instead of saying maximum of $9,000, and then she's like, okay, you got to come back out, we got to get a different amount to have you come back out and do it. So if you're comfortable approving the purchase and install from Superior at the price of $55 per cubic foot, with a 10% variance, just in case something happens.
Are any of these companies ones that she's used in the
That's
past?
what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask her that too, and I forgot to ask. That was the Superior, I mean, she's the one that said Superior, so,
Oh, that would be her recommendation.
Superior rings a bell.
Oh, no, he's got a
They're all
616
playground
number.
companies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're all providing the right product for it.
right, they need to be those special wood chips.
Some are probably bigger than others and then able to provide the cost difference. But, I mean, those numbers seem pretty accurate for those
Yeah.
2 parks, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just expensive. I wish you could just use just regular wood chips, you know?
Yeah. So the motion is go with Superior, but add a variance for 10%?
Yeah, so just to do it at a price of 55 per, with the 10% variance to bring it into compliance with safety standards.
I would move to approve that for 55 units, or $55 per unit with a 10% variance to bring it up with Superior.
I'll
I'm sorry.
I'll support that.
I didn't know if you were done.
Sorry.
Superior
Yeah.
Ground Cover Inc.
Well, I was looking at all of them, I was like, well, the one's in Texas, I'd rather go with the Michigan one if it comes down to that.
Yeah. All right. Motion made by Reardon to move forward with Superior ground cover with the price of $55 per cubic yard with a 10% variance, supported by Endress. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9D, the Little Free Library at Arbutus Park. There was an individual looking to make a donation of putting a little library at Arbutus 5 Park.
So they had originally wanted to put in a bench, but the benches are all purchased, and so Beth offered up the opportunity to purchase the little library and then put a plaque on it in recognition of the individual that they'd like to do that with. So it's more of just a consensus that you're okay with having the donation placed in the park versus authorizing somebody to buy it. So the township would buy it and be reimbursed by the money. You have money in your little library line item anyways, but it would just kind of the process to make sure you're comfortable with putting one in that park, first of all, that it's a place that you think we should have one, and then that you're comfortable with it overall.
I think it'd be a good little donation.
Yes, I need that little library.
You were missing it, weren't you?
I am missing it, and I have a lot of books to put in it.
All right.
Did you need a motion on that, or?
Yeah.
No motion needed, I mean, unless somebody has any concerns with adding that little library there. If not, then I'll just let her know to go ahead.
I think I'm good with that.
Okay,
Please.
okay.
All right.
Now, do we not know who the person is in memory of, or?
I do not know those details. But that would be, I mean, all the cost of everything is on the person that's looking to donate it. So really, like I
It's like
said, as
an-
long as you're comfortable with having a little library in that park.
Oh, yeah.
It's like our Eagle Scout project. It's, someone wanted to do something for the
Yeah.
public space, so.
I'll fill it with kids' books, gone by the end of the week, they're all gone by the end of the weekend.
um,
I imagine, since like the Board of Trustees will be the ones, that ultimately decides purchase and all that, is there like naming rights policies or anything?
There isn't
Just curious
anything.
how that works. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of, so they would just work with Beth to get the plaque, so it would say in memory of whoever the person is, and then
Okay.
we'd also want them to do the Free Little Library register, so that it would end up as well on the,
I mean, it might be worthwhile to, kind of engage with the Board of Trustees there, just to see what their stances of, naming policy would be. Because, I mean, if we end up talking about doing a dog park or something at Grace McDonald, because it is dedicated, there's a dedication there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, how we would work around that. Maybe it's just a matter of just leaving the rock there with the, and, but
Yeah.
I know we've come across this a couple times in the county for different things and came up with solutions, but just curious how the East Bay handled it.
Speaking of plaques, that kiosk that the Eagle Scout made, I didn't see any kind of Eagle Scout project.
oh, you didn't put anything on it?
I don't know. I feel like,
Was it the Pines? Is that where you put it?
no, it's at Holiday
Holiday.
Woodlands.
Oh, that's right, okay.
I mean, it doesn't need to have one, but
Right.
I feel like it'd be nice to recognize
That
the
was his-
scouts' young work,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
young
absolutely.
scouts' hard work, so. And we probably should put some stuff in it too.
Yeah, were we talking about a survey recently?
Yeah, it's out right now.
Maybe we
Is
could
there a
put that
QR?
information.
Yeah, can
Probably
we put
should.
that there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to get us off topic, but that made me think when I saw it yesterday, there's no recognition for him, so. All right, if there's no more conversation on the Little Free Library, we'll go ahead and move to business before the Parks Commission, 9E, looking at the budget for year 2025. In the back of the packet, there's kind of,
Yeah,
for
so,
our parks plan, kind of goals and objectives and the action plans. I guess tonight, we're just gonna kind of get some direction where we want to go with our budget for 2025. So just direction.
yeah, you'll get a worksheet, like you have in the past years of where, you know, where we currently are, maybe some projections based on where we should go. We really don't have any carryover projects from this year. Arbutus Phase 1's done, Jen's gonna be done. So looking at what projects to work on next year based on the Park and Rec plan, and then anything else we've kind of been working on. I know that there's been some questions about when's Arbutus Phase 2 gonna happen, now that everything else is so nice. So looking at maybe even some guidance on what age the structures should be out there for what type of children, you know, is it a toddler, is it larger than that, or is it something you want to hit all the age groups? So some of those discussions, so you don't have to go into too much detail, but kind of figure out what that looks like for that park, and that is in your park plan as well. And then any of the other items that you might want to get into a little bit further. You know, we had cornhole, that part we put in for the grant. We have not heard about that grant, I don't think.
You said December. You said we wouldn't hear till the end of the.
Yeah. So that one is still out there, but, you know, kind of looking forward, if we don't get that grant, looking at funding maybe for that. We've got the community garden as well, if you want to look at funding some phase of that project. The warming hut's already done, so kind of looking at, you know, that's a big expense to try to move forward with. But if you want to try to plan over time to fund that, we have kind of planning up at the water tower. I mean, these are all in your plan, but take some time to think about the different projects and how we should prioritize those for the next fiscal year, knowing that we don't have any, you know, major projects kind of moving forward, at least so far. And I don't know how much time you'll want to talk about tonight, or if you just say, okay, we'll come back to it once we have kind of the worksheet to work through. But kind of wanted to get you thinking about it, started thinking about it.
Sure.
Yes, sticking to our action plan, I feel like we should continue looking into how to do the warming hut since it's ready for construction. Then Holiday Woodlands natural area, I definitely think we should look into pushing that along, which we have the survey out there.
Get a
Community,
grant for the funding on that?
Just to do the planning.
Oh, yeah.
the community garden, I mean, we have a lot of plans out there, I think. Definitely shouldn't let that one go away. Look into options, how to get that started.
So like for the Hammond Park one, you know, that's scheduled for 2025. Would we be trying to, you know, bring in some funds to cover the planning for something like that? Or would we try to do that in-house more? Because I don't know how elaborate,
Right.
I mean, it's just trails, trail work and, you know, what was it, exercise equipment maybe, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of discussion about the Hammond Park, and so just creating the plan. I don't know if you want to go through a full-blown community engagement plan, or if it's just something you want to put together as a Parks Commission, and then maybe get feedback once you kind of lay it out to figure it out, because that all will make a difference in the money that you'll need to do that. I know that there's some pretty already strong thoughts on what should be up there, so I don't know how much front-end community engagement you would want to do. Plus, we just did the survey for the Park and Rec plan too, so we can lean on that, because that's still fresh, to help
I think we should,
I guess it depends too on if at Grace McDonald that goes to a dog park.
Yeah, I was
area. I mean, so there's a lot to think that's sort of hinging on Water Tower or Grace.
I think we definitely should keep it on there for kind of in-house, kind of talking about it, coming up with a plan
You
for
said over what?
Hammond Park.
What was your recommendation on it?
Just keep it not in the not budget any money, but within this commission, talk about kind of our plan and come up with a more set in stone kind of direction. Then we can engage community and put some money towards like the actual planning of it would be my,
I'm really hinged on what comes back on the athletic field versus dog park, because dog park's still gonna be a priority for me. I feel like it's low-hanging, low-cost fruit.
Where are
The dark,
A dog park?
at Arbutus?
Well, no.
I'm
at
sorry.
Grace McDonald, or if you can't do it there.
Not Grace.
I just want one somewhere. I don't care where. It just seems like one of those
Sorry about
cheaper
that.
ones where if we have general
It's one of
fund
those
dollars,
nights.
we can knock out a bunch of small stuff. And those big projects, we're gonna need a big grant to do any of those. I'd rather,
Just a pop-up dog park.
I'd rather prioritize like low-hanging fruit, small projects that we can knock out within a year with general
Practically could
funds.
do a pop-up
And if we-
dog park out there right now, so.
I'm just kind of
With some
curious
snow
on
fence.
what we're able and capable
Small
of
dogs
doing
and large
with that
dogs.
property, because it's kind of reserved property, you know, in case.
well, it's
For
gotta
water.
be minimal, like something that can be moved or replaced or not build a big building out there and parking lot.
The thought I had about that was the dedication, that portion is to be used as like for athletics or whatever per that gentleman. And I don't know, how long ago was that?
Yeah, so I came across some documents about Bert Zagers. And, he used to be an NFL football player for the Redskins.
Okay,
And then he was also the county's first parks director, it sounds like.
okay.
Which I don't know, I have to look at the information on it, because the memorial here is something to do with East Bay Parks Director, I thought it said. So, I don't
We
know.
all connected with Grace. Grace McDonald.
Yeah, it could be. I'm curious to know more
Because
information.
actually, her memorial was there on that field. Her original memorial
Oh,
celebration was on that field, just to let you know.
The first East Bay Township Parks Director, played football for Michigan State and the Redskins. Dedication and vision for the recreation,
When was it dedicated?
I don't know. Remember I didn't get the whole plaque in the photo?
We're gonna find out in a couple weeks.
Just like the sides are
So I guess the only thing holding us up with the dog park there is the legalities of,
Yeah, well, the other thought I had was, if no teams are approaching us to use that as a soccer field, a lacrosse field, a Pop Warner practice field, then would it be okay for us to reach out to his family and say, hey, the last 3, 4, 5 years, nobody's been using this field. We were thinking about possibly putting a dog park. Would that be okay?
just how it's worded too might, make a difference too, because recreation could be defined so many different ways. It doesn't have to be a sport. you
Sure.
know.
Oh,
So, I mean,
Yeah.
and if he was a parks and recreation director, I imagine it's just parks in general and
Sure.
not specific to the park field, but,
Yeah,
whatever
is-
direction that goes, I'm just kind of curious on the history of this guy, to be
Does
honest.
the plaque reference the field specifically, or did they just think that was a nice place to put
Correct me
it?
if I'm wrong, but don't you think this says his
I'm not,
dedication and vision for the recreation and parks of East Bay Township will long be remembered? So his dedication and vision for East Bay Township will long be remembered, as we sit here not knowing who he is. Sorry, Bert.
I mean.
Truly
let's get
sorry.
ourselves a full, let's go back and get a full picture.
yeah.
But I don't know, because I mean, that if it's just a dedication to him as a person, and they thought that was a nice spot where a lot of people would see it, which it is.
Because back in the day, that was typically used as a Pop Warner practice.
1992.
So that's probably, with his football background, that's probably why the stone is placed where it is, because that's what that field was historically used
I
for.
think there's some connection too with him and Grace, Grace McDonald.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Just kind of,
Oh,
So I know there was some research on that, but I think that would be a next year project to figure out if we'd want to budget some money or figure out what to do with it, or.
If we could budget some money and build a dog park at Grace, I am all for it.
Especially if it's, under 50 grand, which is a relatively cheap project for us. And
I mean, what do we
hopefully would be
even-
done within a
Better,
couple weeks.
better fencing
Right, just
there?
fencing to
Just-
separate
And I know
it.
fencing
We
is
don't-
very,
we don't-
it's-
One
everything
fence
is
and 3
costly,
spigots?
but,
Right.
I mean, the irrigation's already there.
I see.
Well, that's,
I
okay.
see great
Susan, I'm talking about
exercise
low-hanging
for
fruit
not
that we
only
can actually pay for and
for
do.
dogs, but for their owner.
But then we gotta pay engineering to do this whole, we're gonna spend 30 grand just for them to make plans. I'd rather let's buy picnic tables, let's buy barbecues, let's pay for stuff that we can on general fund. For the big projects, like the garden, I love it, but it's, $400 to $1 million. We need a big grant to even think about doing that. Like budgeting 50 grand for that, I don't think does anything for that project except for more engineering costs.
Another thing on here that is something that it would cost money, but, not like big grant money, but the new bathroom for Killingsworth.
That'd be another good one, yeah.
I'd rather put money into ADA than a Killingsworth bathroom.
We would make the Killingsworth bathroom ADA.
I know, but
2 for 1.
That would be, well, we wouldn't put in a new bathroom that wasn't ADA.
well, I know, but I would rather,
Killingsworth is, it's our lovely rustic gem, and I
I have a
think,
hard time doing anything to Killingsworth.
But bathrooms in
I
general,
really like
that seems like
it
a
for-
good small
yeah,
project
just
that
like
we
a
can
quiet
knock out.
height.
I know, but another good small
Add
project,
value to any park, we do. a
another good
bathroom.
small project though is to make ADA accessible pathways through Grace. Because if you park in the handicap spot and you're gonna go watch your
Right.
son, nephew, daughter play baseball,
Grandson.
you're gliding through a parking lot. to get there, or the grass.
And I think part of that was gonna be with the cornhole.
Cornhole's
Yeah, but that was
So
just, that was just
that
the
should be
tennis,
taken care of
to the
that.
cornhole, to the
But I think that
pavilion.
whole swirl there is gonna be all connected.
I mean, we can knock
We
out,
did talk about that
Yeah.
at the tour.
we can knock out ADA sidewalks and stuff at Grace for chunks, little pieces probably out of the general fund budget, little by
I
little.
mean, that's what we
But-
asked for.
Yeah,
Well, either way, with the cornhole project, that's getting done. It's just if we don't get the grant, we'll only get 2 cornholes versus 6 or whatever.
yeah.
Well, there's some more pathways that
Yeah.
need to be done than just what's in
Yeah.
the
We need to
cornhole
create
proposal.
pathways.
Right.
There's ADA stops at the bathrooms and at the pavilion. That's where the ADA stops. You have to get it to the playset, and you have to get it to the
Yeah.
baseball.
So we
And
have,
and then whatever we do with the
Right.
fields.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can squeeze in a wheelchair swing too.
At Grace or?
And actually, when we're looking at all those parts, I thought, I read it in here, we're always going to be adding that at the time, you know what I mean, to those,
From
to
here on
those
out.
parks, yeah, so we should keep to that. That should be number 1, assume.
Yeah,
on
number
every
5
park.
is, I'm so happy. Number 5 is now easy.
I will say, I drove by it tonight on the way in, and it was full, but no one was parking along the road, so that was good.
I drove by Sunday afternoon, and I was
Yes.
surprised that nobody was parked along the road.
I was swimming Sunday and people were parked across the road.
Oh, I was there, I drove by there about 1:30 maybe, and there was none.
I was there later.
Oh, okay.
There were supposed to be some parking lot fixes there. Have those occurred yet?
I'm pretty sure they were
That's
fixed
part of that
before it
payment.
opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was there looking specifically for that.
oh, okay.
The grass isn't growing because the geese are eating the seed.
Why was there the do not enter, like, the, what, for lack of better.
That's
police
just-
tape. Why was the police tape down there?
To keep them from, to keep the humans off the grass, the grass would grow, but the
Oh.
geese are eating the grass seeds.
But I saw people like,
I know, you did, you did, that just,
you weren't one of them, were you?
I was not. I was not. I will not be a
Were you
bad.
on the other side of the police tape?
That's just gonna be a never-ending battle.
Yes.
to
The
get
weeds
some-
are starting to come up, though, or I'm sorry, the native vegetation is starting to come up. But you can't plant grass seed when it's 87 degrees out.
Yeah.
Well, I will say I turned mine more to natural and the geese just swim on by.
Oh, they don't like it, huh?
No,
Oh,
they like the
interesting.
fine groomed, they don't see they're predators. Or- So they won't go in where there's weeds or native along the shoreline.
Oh, interesting.
'Cause, yeah, could be a,
It's a jungle to them. Um,
So what I'll do is I'll kind of, your ideas that you came up with tonight, put that at least in a list, like a spreadsheet, and then you'll have, a list, and you'll have a spreadsheet in addition to your list, and then we can start plugging in some thoughts, and some numbers maybe at the next meeting. It'll just be dependent on when we have that information pulled out of the system to be
so
able
this
to.
will be our last meeting before that game night, correct?
Yes,
Right,
see you in 2 weeks.
So I'd be hustling and sending out emails then on extra games, my job. duty.
oh, with the library,
Yeah, and this is kind of nice just to have this sheet here too for the public.
yeah, as priorities,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like our action plan is pretty accurate. Few minor things we might want to focus on, but I'd say overall it's really accurate to what we can obtain and do next year.
And don't forget property acquisition.
Yeah.
That's ongoing, yeah.
Is there any update on the 4-mile pier for the Beach District revisioning?
Not right now, I mean, that's just working through the process for the beachfront, so that'll be in that plan, and then we'll probably come back to that as a Parks Commission. You know, that plan hopefully will be done or kind of adopted by the end of the year. And so then maybe next year talking about it or getting it incorporated into the Park and Rec plan at some point here
Now,
in the near
who
future.
owns
To
that?
acquire the 4-mile?
Yeah,
Right.
who owns that?
It's a road commission road end,
Okay.
so.
Years ago, that was a boat launch.
Yeah. And so there's discussion with the road commission about the township taking it over. It seems like there's some reception to that, so that would be the next step, would be for the township to acquire it. But it is technically public right now because it is the road end, so. Yeah, work through that,
That's definitely the road commission, you said?
yeah.
Yeah, they wanna keep it so they can keep plowing into it, basically. They don't want like anything park-wise, but at the visioning thing I went to, was like they wanna do like a big place vacant, like Beach District sign, archway right there, and then like trees, and then a boardwalk, and then a pier that goes out. It was, like, that was one option, and that's the only publicly owned one. The other two were like private people owned them that just got free design, basically. It was Little Trevor's Inn next to the Bear store there, wanted to do like food trucks and like walking paths along Mitchell Creek. And then O'Grady, those weird little cabins next to, I think, Calypso-ish area, that says, they're set back a little bit. It's a skinny lot, but he wants to do like a multi-use, like
It's-
retail and stuff, and people living above.
Skinny lot.
Yeah, it's a tiny lot.
Yeah, it's
And he
deep,
wants
it
to
goes
do
all the way to
what?
Tart. It was like a multi-use,
Yeah.
like office building
Oh.
slash maybe a coffee shop with like living above.
Outdoor seating, like the tart trails.
But
right
I think the
there.
pier, just based on sticky notes, looked like the clear
Yeah.
one people were gravitating towards. Plus, it seems the most viable since it's public. Lastly, do we know our grand total budget for '25 that we're getting allocated?
Not right now.
Okay.
We ask and then they approve. We don't.
We would like $1 million.
Million. Yes, we would.
That's not enough. That's-
Get some stuff
I'm
done.
trying to remember what the restrictions are when it comes to the budget.
It's a percentage of their,
1.5 mils on the assessed valuation of the township.
No.
Can't exceed it.
Oh, just in general, yeah. And I don't know what the township collects, but we're just out of the general fund, so finding that fine balance between every other item that the township wants to get done next year,
Sure.
so.
All right. Well, if there's no more on the budget for year 2025, we can move on to public comment. There's no public, so,
Ella has something to say. She
Yeah.
said, I was at number 5 all day, thank you.
all right. Upcoming meeting dates, game night, August 8th, 2024, 5 to 7 PM. And then the next regular meeting will be August 19th at 6 PM. All right, meeting's adjourned.
Hate to meet Rod.
All I did was took a picture.